Good morning, third grade. This is math lesson 1-9, and it's a really quick one, so I'm just going to go through our first activity here with you, okay? So, starting off here, we are making sense of word problems with 2s, 5s, 9s, and 10s. And so we've learned all of those facts, and we're going to really start practicing them with our story problems. So, this first one here says Ian planted tulip bulbs in an array with 5 rows and 10 columns. How many bulbs did he plant? We know that smart third graders reread story problems multiple times so that we make sure that we know and understand what's happening in the problem. So read again with me this time, okay? I might need to zoom in a bit, huh? Let me move here. Much better. Okay, read with me this time. Ian planted tulip bulbs in an array with 5 rows and 10 columns. How many bulbs did he plant? So we would go ahead, and now that we're understanding it, we're going to mark our key information. I see some numbers. 5 rows, 10 columns. Did you hear any other key language that helps us know what we might draw to represent our problem? Maybe an array. And how many bulbs? So my rows, remember, rows go horizontally side to side. So if there's 5 rows, I line those up like buttons so that I can go side to side off of them. So I have 5 rows. I'm going to switch to blue so you can see better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And 10 columns. Columns are where I go up and down. That means that there's 10 in each row, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, instead of filling in all of those dots, I'm going to go ahead and leave this as a fast array. And a fast array means that I only need to have my sides filled out, and then I'll put the total on the inside. So because this is a 5 by 10 array, I can count by 5s or I can count by 10s to find how many are in the inside. I'm going to count by 10s because it's faster. So I'm going to count by 10s 5 times. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and my answer would be 50. All I need now is to write an equation. I'm going to get fancy and use my variables. So check this one out before you practice some with me on your own, okay? I have 5 times 10 equals, I'm going to sprinkle in a variable. I'll use B for bulbs. So 5 times 10 equals B. Then I use my semicolon to separate that off. B is equal to my answer of 50. B for bulbs. Hello friends, we are going to keep practicing through our activity 1, and this is for lesson 9 in math. So go ahead and do some practice problems with me, and I will post a couple practice ones on your math slides for today that you can practice on your whiteboards, and then you'll be able to do some more practice in homework and remembering. So let's go ahead and get at it. I'm working on numero dos. Erin gave 30 basketball cards to her 5 cousins. I'm going to go ahead and pause after I read that first sentence and mark up some of my keywords. So I'm going to reread it one more time. Go ahead and read with me now. Erin gave 30 basketball cards to her 5 cousins. Okay, let's circle our numbers. 30 and 5. Each cousin got the same number of cards. Key information there. What tells me that I can either be multiplying or dividing. same number, right? Each one got the same amount, so that tells me it's either division or multiplication. And if she's giving them, it's probably division. Go ahead and read the last sentence with me. How many cards did each cousin get? So we're talking about the cards. Okay. Well, if she has 30 basketball cards, she's giving them to 5 cousins. She's giving the same number to each of 5 cousins. I can actually act that out, and so I wanted you to practice that with me today. We can act out our math problems to help us think about what would be the best math drawing to represent it. So, she has 30 basketball cards. It's like a stack of basketball cards, okay? She's giving the same amount to each of her 5 cousins. So she's giving this cousin some, and this cousin some, and this cousin some, and this cousin some, and this cousin some. What type of drawing does that kind of look like if I acted it out? She had a whole bunch of basketball cards, and she gave each of her cousins the same amount. It could be an array, in equal groups, or in equal shares. Equal shares, right? So, she's got 30 basketball cards. 30 is her total on top. We're going to divide it or split it between our 5 cousins. So give yourself 5 little groups. And then we'll go ahead and solve. I'm going to grab a quick drink, and I want you guys to be thinking about what equation would match our drawing so far. How would that go? If I started with 30 and I'm splitting it into 5 equal groups, it would be 30 divided by 5, so I'm dividing it into 5 equal groups, equals, and because we're becoming brilliant mathematicians, we're going to use our variable, right? So our variable for this, since it's how many cards, we'll go ahead and use a little c. And we'll put that little semicolon to split our equation with the variable from the part with our answer. So remember, that's just a floating dot and a comma. C equals what? Let's go ahead and count by our 5s up to 30. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. C equals 6 cards. Pause if you need more time, otherwise you may erase. And we're gonna do probably 2 more practice problems together here, okay? So, this next one says, Martina bought 7 cans of rice. Ooh, actually, we're gonna move on to numero cuatro. Number 4. The 27 students in the orchestra stood in rows for their school picture. Reread that first sentence with me to think about some key information. The 27 students in the orchestra stood in rows for their school picture. What would be some key information? Yeah, there's 27 students. And there's one more thing I wanted you to hear in that one. Rows. When I hear that word rows, it gets me thinking about arrays, right? Rows and columns. So I'm starting to think about that. I'm going to start here at the next sentence. There were 9 students in every row. Ooh. How many rows of students were there? Tell me, what's my magic information I need to mark in my last sentence? How many rows? So that tells me what we're talking about. If there are 27 total students, and there's 9 students in every row, let's go ahead and start with our rows so that we know how our 27 are going to be organized. So, if there's 9 in every row, let's go ahead and start by drawing one row. One row of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, one row of 9. We're going to go ahead and keep filling that in all the way up to 27. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Pause if you need more time to catch up. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So, I have 27 dots, or students, right? Check, took care of that. They're standing in rows, yes. And are there 9 in every row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boom, we got that. Their question, read the question with me, it's that last sentence. How many rows of students were there? How many rows did we create? 3. So we know our answer is rows, but we need to think about if we started with 27, a big number, and we split it into rows and got a small number, would we be multiplying or dividing? If I started big and I shrunk down, that's going to be division. So let's go ahead and start. 27 divided into rows of 9 equals R for rows. And then don't forget that semicolon. Now we're going to go ahead and answer it. What is R? R equals 3 rows. You know, I think that you guys are probably doing an awesome job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post 2 practice problems like this on your math slides for today, and I'm going to put a note. And I want you to practice to make sure that you write an equation with a variable. That's that little letter. Don't forget your semicolon. And then you tell me your answer. The variable equals your answer and a label. And I'll give you those directions again on your slides, but I know you're going to do awesome, so best of luck to you guys.